Big Shot episode 10, also known as the season finale, is here, and the real question is, does it wrap up everything nicely, including the little sub-storylines like Louise's family crisis, or Destiny's family crisis, or the Emma and Marvyn family crisis? Lots of family crises, I know. Does it stick the landing in any way? Yeah, kinda. Hi fellow Disney Plus watchers, this is Thoughts After Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching. Just in general, I really liked the first half, despite maybe having one missed opportunity, but I'll get into that as I go into spoilers, not yet. But I really started to tune out during the second half. A lot of that has to do with the fact that the story and tension left in episode 9, the question if Marvyn is getting into college UCSB basketball or not, will he pull through? We were left with that question mark, and the conflict is kinda done somewhere during the episode, and what comes next is definitely subpar, mostly kinda cheesy, sometimes too quickly wrapped up, and even a little bit cringeworthy, to be honest. Now, what a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Destiny and her family mother issues are actually of great purpose in this episode. Still, no spoilers for episode 10, I will warn big time whenever I switch to any spoiler-sensitive material, but I was actually kind of wrong. Now, if you've seen some of my earlier reviews, you might know that I wasn't really a fan of the seemingly random storyline for Destiny where she finds out her mother isn't her mother and her aunt isn't her aunt. Despite this big casting mistake, but I'm not going into that, you can watch the earlier reviews if you want, but I'm moving on. Despite this, it felt random, it didn't have any bearing on however Destiny performed during practice or whatever. It didn't feel right, but this mother-daughter storyline is way more meaningful than I anticipated, and I applaud the show for proving me wrong. Because when Destiny's mother talks about what it means to be a parent, Marvyn is around to hear exactly what he needs to hear, and it's done in such a way that I think was really effective and well thought out. Because Marvyn, as we all know from episode 9, is now left to fight his demons and really find the answer within himself. Will I go through with the new job at the UCSB, or will I stay here at Westbrook? And the way this was handled in the first half of the episode was effective and sometimes surprisingly creative. There was, however, in my opinion, one missed opportunity, and that's a discussion for the spoiler part. Before I get into spoilers, if you're new and one that can't get enough of Disney Plus, this is the only channel that's specifically and absolutely only Disney Plus thoughts and reviews. Episode per episode, we all watch together. You'll have an idea on what to expect. Click that button and that bell if you want to follow along. Thank you so much. Before we get into the meat of this episode, are you guys watching Invincible? I just finished that this week and I thought it was funny that the opening scene just did the same thing that show does at the beginning, pulling up the title card whenever a character is going to say the title of the show. Not that it was any fun in this show. I mean, the actor was really forcing it and probably got a director's note that he should really physically announce that he was going to say Big Shot. Bit awkward, but reminded me of Invincible, just a thought. Okay, let's first take a look at the first half of the episode, because I strongly believe the first half and the second half are really far apart in terms of quality. So in the first half, we see Marvyn having sleepless nights and weird nightmares. Not that you can have sleepless nights while having nightmares, but you know what I'm talking about. I really liked this dream sequence where this show is getting a little stylistically creative, and that doesn't happen a lot. It was almost chilling to see him throw that chair and see immediately after that Emma is trapped in these bulky chairs. She literally says, "Dad, I'm trapped." But we all know what that means. She's trapped in the decisions and actions of her father. I mean, her whole life is being directed by Marvyn. She doesn't have a say in anything. "I'm never part of these decisions. You just announce them and I have to live with them," she says at the beginning of the episode, and she's right. So I like the way this returns in his nightmare, but in this visual language of her trapped in a lot of chairs. So essentially, what this means is that she's trapped in all of Marvyn's past mistakes. I mean, that's how I read it, and I thought it was really neat. Just overall, that first half builds and builds towards Marvyn making the decision, "I belong here, I should stay." And the way that this episode was going at it, with the nightmares, with his daughter basically begging to have a say in his decisions, with Miss Goodwin telling him that Emma needs this to be her home, whatever it takes, with Destiny's mother aunt talking about sacrifice and what being a parent is all about, this build-up was really well done in my opinion. But here's one thing that's kind of disappointing me, because it felt anticlimactic to have him just deliver a monologue in front of the team and his daughter and hugging her, and well, here we are. What could have been is maybe not the most sophisticated way to review this story we're getting, but what if Marvyn made the decision to go to UCSB and couldn't go back because he repeatedly says that his mind is made up? What if he already signed the contract and now got the school on his tail, counting on him, going after him? Hell, you could do a little bit of a bigger episode where the girls, Emma and Holly, all go after him and heroically get him back. Something like that. This is only one of 100 possibilities where Marvyn choosing UCSB really puts the whole flow of the story on its head. The stakes easily could have been raised, but the writers just ditch it with a monologue halfway through the episode. And the second half, well, I think is quite bad. The whole situation with the bees, by the way, those are endangered species, what a jerk that guy was. The fact that we only got to see a small snippet of the final game, not really knowing when we are, how long they are playing already. Why was this shot the final shot that brought these girls to D2? Why was this so quickly taken care of? This final game we have been working towards this whole season. This really cheesy shot. Sorry, I don't like this stuff anymore. It's simply overdone in my opinion, but it's a matter of taste, I know. And more importantly, ending on this right here. Really? A cheap, cheesy photo frame shot of the team as a final shot of this show? I'm sorry, but I rolled my eyes. I mean, the vibe of this short little scene where the team is getting out of the bus, where we hear, "Who's bad? Carl's bad. Who's bad? Carl?" You know, that chanting in the background, where the team is walking across this empty schoolyard. This vibe, this kind of tension, this vibe was great. If the show would have kept this tension close to the chest and really showed a brutal basketball game after, there would be a lot to enjoy. But we already kind of got the ending to the story with Marvyn speaking to the whole team and confessing and admitting he's staying. All that. So what comes next? The next half must have meaning and impact. Just clumsily have someone release bees and show like 2 minutes of basketball, showing one shot at the basket, and okay, we won, we're going to D2. And just ending so cheesy with that photo frame shot. Really a bummer that this second half was so cringy, in my honest opinion. I would love to hear different ones. Of course, feel free. Just to start to collect my thoughts, great first half, it builds and builds on Marvyn's dilemma in meaningful and creative ways. That was well done. It does leave something to be desired. Not having Marvyn trapped in the corner and face the consequences of choosing the UCSB was a shame, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, the second half had me really disappointed. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. If you're interested in thoughts on previous episodes, it's on the description, or you can browse the channel page. Did you like this video? Then all it takes is to click that blue little hand down there. Thanks. I will watch The Bad Batch today and will sure have my thoughts on that. And of course, Luca is out, so expect a review very soon. Thank you so much for watching, really. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya!